And you said it reminds you also a bit of like Olympic Games.
And always using the very colorful approach, being very friendly and fun.
Yeah, very recognisable colour palette, simple forms and shapes, but there's many different ways of interpreting the brand, and you see that in many spaces from different studios.
That's something we learned there, so we definitely over-delivered.
And that's one of the things that I really like about Google. And it's also why I moved to Android for a short period of time. But then went back to Apple. Sorry, Google.
An advice to also get the chance to work for Google.
What's good, everybody, and welcome to the brand review by Hyperfocus. Today we are sat around a couch having some couch talks. Judging on our previous video where we talked about Nike, it seemed to be a very popular format, and it's something that we've been wanting to do for quite some time. So welcome. Today we are going to be talking about Google and working as a designer for Google, as you probably saw on the thumbnail. Today I am joined by two familiar faces, Mr. Jan Stein.
Hello.
And Sang.
Hi everyone, I'm Zhang, digital pseudonym Gideon, and I was on a video before the Nike. If you didn't watch the video, so check it out, and also don't forget to subscribe the buttons.
I like it, it's an early subscribe. So if you are new here, click subscribe because I'm sure you're going to enjoy this video. Jan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Myself. Hi, I'm Jan, yeah, from the brand review.
Amazing. Thank you.
You might have seen myself on this channel.
What an introduction.
I sometimes turn up in these videos and talk about brands.
So, yeah, as it says on the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about Google. And it's going to be, today, a bit more of a looser discussion. But at the end, we are going to be giving some hints and tips away for you guys, for any budding brand designers, graphic designers, who are looking to work for a company like Google. We'll be giving some of those learnings from the guys here as well, which hopefully will benefit you on your search to work for a company like Google. So stay around, stick around until the end. It's something that you definitely don't want to miss. But for now, let's get started.
Yes.
So, Jan, you have brought a couple of projects with you that we're going to have a little chat about. Some kind of North Star, benchmark, kind of cool stuff that we've seen. And yeah, thought we'd have a little chat about them. So would you like to introduce the first one, who it's by and what it's all about?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we asked ourselves, Google, yeah, why is it so desirable to work for them?
That's true, yes.
And yeah, there are like one of these North Star brands who, yeah, I think, again, like if you name brands you really want to work for, they might come up quite often in the design industry. Yeah, because it's a very design-driven company, right? So everything they do, you can see, okay, that's yeah, there's someone thought about it, and also like the craftsmanship is usually very well done. Yeah, so to also prove that, we brought two projects. First is the I/O conference design from Walsh. Yeah, Walsh, quite famous design agency from New York, run by Jessica Walsh, who used to run the design studio with Stefan Sagmeister before, and now is on her own for quite some time and is running this very successful studio. The Google I/O, I think it's like a conference for developers where they present like their new latest technical achievements.
It's like WWDC.
Yeah, something like this.
Upgrades, new tech. They just basically celebrate themselves.
Yeah, and with experimental with the brand, right? You don't use like just the basic brand assets. You can be a bit more playful, and yeah, they have done here, and yeah, quite good job on this conference. CI looks very very cool in my opinion.
And always using the very colorful approach, being very friendly and fun.
Yeah, and it still has a technical feeling to it. Like it fits to this, technical developer conference. Not too playful, but still playful enough.
I think that's also one of the distinctive things about Google as well, is they have a very recognizable color palette. So it's very simple forms and shapes, but there's many different ways of interpreting the brand. And you see that in many spaces from different studios and to all the like campaigns, and also all the way into their operating system as well. With Android, they're also equally doing the same thing. They're reinventing themselves very often. And that's one of the things that I really like about Google. Mm-hmm. And it's also why I moved to Android for a short period of time. But then went back to Apple. Sorry, Google.
And you said it reminds you also a bit of like Olympic Games.
Yeah.
CI, right?
But like typically for this one, because when all the lines come together, and then you look, it's like a big strike. It also reminds me of Olympic visual design.
Cool. Yeah, that's and then we brought a second case, which is also because Google is quite famous for their innovation in the space of office environments. Like I think they're I don't know, let's say like 10 years ago, maybe that's a bit too long, but they were like really known for having these super playful office environments, right? Everything was super colorful. It was like somersaults and
I think it was longer than 10 years ago.
Was it longer than 10 years ago?
Yeah. I mean, there was a movie about it. Do you remember?
A movie about the Google offices?
About the Google offices, about a guy who wanted to work for Google. Yeah, it was about a guy who was like trying to get into the Google office, and it was all like this crazy, the what they're called Googlers or something, the people who work for Google. And they all wore these very strange hats with like spinny things on top. And anyway, it was like a Hollywood movie. So that craze, the synonymousness of Google has been around for quite a long time.
Yeah, but I think they're not as playful anymore as they used to be. I think nowadays it's more about creating these like well lit open spaces with natural materials. Still, there's always a little bit of playfulness in there, so they don't get rid of it completely. But yeah, still very nice and modern office spaces. So here we have one example from a studio called Studios, and they have here for the Google Bayview location, they created these beautiful interiors here. I think that's the main campus from Google actually. As you can see here, still they have table tennis in there, so it's still I think that's always something they want to do, that like not entertain, but keep the employees also active. So I was also involved in a project where they also build a gym inside of their office. So, yeah.
Oh, actually, also there's one input from the working space at Google as well, that I watched some sharing of a Google employee, and they also shared that like will really prioritize the natural space, which is like you can always and go outside and go back inside, but like the time you spend outside of the office is really appreciated, because it's like help you to unlock better ideas and release stretches at work as well. So they really prioritize natural space and open space.
Health and wellness, then I suppose, mental well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so that's thank you. That's a nice segue on to my next question, which would be your experiences with Google.
Okay, I can go first. So my experiences is overall is very good, and the team is very open and friendly, and they are all very talented and bright as I have been had a chance to work with. And the experiences is also a little bit overwhelmed because there are so many talented designers. So yeah, I feel like if you are confident that you are like really good at what you do, so you join Google and then you found out that there's many Googler is doing stuff much better than you. So it's like open my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, my experience was that it was a very professional environment. I think like the whole setup, the team setup was really good. I mean, what you have to know is that first of all, there's like a wall of bureaucracy you have to climb. It just takes a while to get contracts done with them, and they're kind of strict with this kind of stuff as well. There's not much room for negotiating things, but overall it's all fair and all good. So once this is done and you can start working, then we had a lot of fun, and I think we also were very happy with the result and the work we created there, because you get a lot of freedom, and they want the best and the most creative work and something outstanding. So that's why it was a great experience.
So that's actually one of the things that I would be asking next. So I'd be really interested to find out what you overcame, what you learned, what was like one of the biggest challenges that you had whilst working. I imagine it's bureaucracy, based on what you just said. But yeah, one of the things that kind of, you had to face, the adversity that you faced to actually get the creative work out there that you were proud of.
So I can go first. So I think the biggest challenges and also how I overcome it can't display on one story. So I was I was a brand designer at a big team when I was freelancing with them, and then I just joined there with other freelancers and also full-time team as well. And all of them is very, very talented, even the freelancer or the in-house team. So we had worked together in one fine, and then by the end of the day, I really want to see how other work as well, to just to see and read the room around me and to see what kind of process is going on, and always feel overwhelmed by how talented and fast they work. And this is also the biggest challenges because I want to keep up with that speed. And I feel like after a few months working together, I just level up myself as a designer in terms of workflow, professional communications, and also the design speed and quality. Yeah, that's my side so far.
Thank you. I'd ask the same question to yourself.
Challenges.
Yeah. Adversity, faced, conquered, done, designed, delivered.
Yeah. I mean, in this case, one challenge was to quote the project right from the beginning, because they won the prize at the beginning, and there was not much room to negotiate later. So if then you find out during the process, this will take a bit longer or something, then then it's not like, no problem. So it's that's something we learned there. So we definitely over-delivered back in the days. Yeah, but overall, again, having because we worked with architects, project management, and they were all brought in from different organizations, but they were really, really good people. So everyone really knew what he was doing and had a lot of experience with projects like this. And you could see this then in the end result. Yeah, that was also the space in this case. Everything was just really nice, was top notch. So
in the beginning of the video, you mentioned this being a bucket list client. A lot of people would love to work for Google. And I'm just interested to find out if it really lived up to your expectations. How has it changed you as a designer? Has it sent you in a different direction? Have you learned a lot about yourselves? Have you become a better creative for it? Was it the check mark on the bucket list of companies to work for? Was it everything that you've ever hoped for? Or was it a complete disaster, the complete opposite? I'm really interested to find out how it's changed you.
You want to go first?
I think you have always very high expectations then on these kind of projects, right? And you imagine, oh yeah, must be different than any other design project you worked on before. But yeah, of course, then you will get down to earth again and see there's also people working there, not not superhumans. And it was a great project, but I wouldn't say not what I was expecting. It was actually what I was expecting. Yeah.
Okay. And what was that?
Yeah, as I said, a professional environment with very good people, having a lot of creative freedom, with a great result at the end, which you're proud of and you can, put in your portfolio, and it will help you to.
It's always a good name to drop.
It
right?
is a good name to drop. Yeah, 100%.
Sang, ask you the same question.
I think like my experiences also like really different from Jan as well, because you work with team in Hamburg, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't work with Hamburg team. I work with London and New York team. And actually, when I joined the project, and the creative director told me like she gathered the best minds, like creative minds so far for that kind of project. And this is where I was overwhelmed by the most talented people there. They work really fast, and like again, just want to emphasize that thanks to that few months, the workflow I work right now is influenced by that 3 months. So, and I also had the feeling like everything when I design, and it go through from my sketches to the high up, let's say, creative director, executive director, and to the brand director and so on. This is the long way, but if it gets through and is be published, it will be reach to billions people, and this is something very different. Cannot compatible with other design project I have joined, because I never expect that the stuff I sketch, those fun and cute stuff, can get to on the screen of billions of people.
It's two different experiences, really. I mean, I think it's also your self-perception on like how you see things, and also the opportunities that you're given as well. And I also think that's not just for Google. I think it's however you present yourself on any project. I mean, in this case, you had a huge platform, but I think, you would always approach any kind of project with the same kind of attitude and expectations from yourself, So
Yeah.
I think that's also something that we all learn as well as we're growing as creatives, that it's not necessarily about the name behind something, it's about your own presence and your own way of working and the relationships that you build and the things that you do with inside of those teams, that hopefully, design excellence will come out of that, but predominantly great work will come out of that as well.
But I think I want to add one more thing about that. There is every project will have the pro and cons. I think the pro for the design project I joined at Google is like it could reach many people, and I can collab with so many different designers. But because it's a global campaign, and then it will disappear after a few months. You know what I mean? But Jan did this like the working space design. It will stay there
It's
for
still
years. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you can touch
every day,
this.
right? Yeah.
So this is a different value. And I feel like when you design something digital, it's very fast forward. It will pass, how I can say, it will disappear after, it will have a shorter life. The design will have a shorter life.
Mm.
But when you design something physical, you be limited in the one locations, but it will last for years.
Yeah.
Much longer time.
Very true, very true. Okay, we have reached the point that I would imagine you have been waiting for. It's time to find out some hints and tips from your experience on advice for how you would talk to maybe your younger self, the retrospective self, when you worked on these projects, that hopefully the people at home can take away and use themselves. on their design projects or the potential to work for Google. So I'd like to pass it over to you guys and give some of those little secrets away, some of those motivational things in your back pocket.
I think for me, there's no secret. It's just, I think you listen to that advice many times already. But outside of design, learning how to love other things, like be curious in different topics. For example, when they onboard me on the project, they asked me about my knowledge on that topic as well. And coincidence, I really interested in those different technology topics, and it turns out it is their interest. So my advice is not just design, curious about the world around you, especially when you want to work for big brand, because big brand, they care about the big problems. They're not just like all the time try to design nice things, but also design meaningful things for millions, billions people.
I think that's an important piece of advice for any designers to get out of silos, to break those silos, especially when you're doing research for projects, not just to look at competitors, and to look in unusual places to find inspiration, because often problems or the same kind of circumstances exist in many different places and many different ways. And if you can look at those and interpret them, you'll learn how to apply those to that current situation. Jan?
Yeah, an advice to also get the chance to work for Google.
Yeah.
Would be, I think you have to constantly keep on challenging yourself and do good work, because they just work with the best people. And then you have to be patient. And at some point, this opportunity might come up. It might not be tomorrow, maybe not next year, but maybe in 2 years. So be patient and keep on doing great stuff. And then again, opportunities will come, will knock on your door.
And I would say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And if it never happens, it doesn't matter. There's amazing opportunities, there's amazing projects out there, large and small. And sometimes the projects with no budget are the most exciting ones because you have the most play. And sometimes the projects with the most money are the most difficult because it's full of bureaucracy and it's difficult to circumnavigate, and the creativity that you once envisaged from the beginning doesn't get to be seen. It can and it can't, so there's many different paths, but I wouldn't, hopefully my piece of advice as well would be not to just focus on one thing and say, that's where I want to be, and only focus. You can, if that's 100,000% where you're going, but there's other ways. Creativity isn't a linear path.
I love that advice.
Well, I mean, that just gets us to the end of this couch talk. I also want to offer my gratitude to both of you. I always love sitting here and talking about these topics with you. There will be more to come. Some very, very wise words, and I hope you guys have learned something or just enjoyed sitting and listening to us have a conversation about topics that we're really interested in. Saying that, Sang already said, if you haven't and you got this far, then please subscribe. It helps us to continue making content like this. Like the video if you liked it, and also share it with other people who might be into Google, brand design, or just upcoming designers, or even experts in the field. Share this video with them, and hopefully they will enjoy this content too. But yeah, that just leaves me one last thing, which is to say thank you, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And if you don't know, Google it. God.